So starting the record. Good morning and happy Tuesday and welcome to the Builders Call. Just as a reference, because we are recording this call happens on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. And the context behind this call is to talk about all things agent attraction, recruiting. And today I'd like to talk about not just recruiting from that perspective, but retention, which is the act of always recruiting. So it never stops, doesn't stop from the time that we bring them in. And I want to thank Katie for kind of talking about that with me a little bit yesterday. And it's something I do feel strongly about, that it does not end from the time that you bring someone on. We often talk about the act of recruiting and bringing people in, and retention is just as important. And I think right now in the industry, this is probably more important than ever, as we hear more and more about the fact that people are leaving or considering leaving brokerages or teams or anything like that. We're definitely seeing people make decisions or consider making decisions. We're hearing more and more about it. So definitely came to mind quite a bit, and it has been coming to mind quite a bit. So first of all, before we start that, does anybody have anything else that they would like to talk about today that I can just put on my list, that we can add to the agenda as well? No, 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 no. It's a very small group today, but that's okay.
Well, I guess the question is, sorry, I'm just gonna skip my hair. She's gonna bother me. Around but retention is recruiting, right? So, and then, I know we don't have I just want to see where everybody's from. I know where Anthony lives, but I don't know where other people live.
Laura is my assistant. So she is currently in South America.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And Lucy, where are you?
I'm from Santa Cruz County.
Okay, you're Santa Cruz. Okay, so we're all, well, except for Laura. She's Laura, what's the origin of your name?
Italian.
Para italiano?
Yeah, no, a little bit.
Un po'. Okay. I was like, we can do this whole meeting in Italian. That would be awesome.
No, please.
We're gonna teach Anthony Italian if it kills me. So okay. So I mean, for those of us in California, the only regional rally is one in Southern California, but it is a form of the retention. So maybe talking about events that we have going on, and how to put that into retention / recruiting. That's been my focus the last week or so, is where can I drive the next group of either recruits or internal people that are already with us.
Yeah, love it. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, Katie. Okay, so jumping in, today I wanted to talk about the 5 E's, and this was an article that I'd actually saved a long time ago. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I save everything, and if I read something, it just kind of gets saved in my phone, and I'm constantly reading things. And so when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, I remembered this, and it was the 4 E's, and then I added the 5th, just because I think it's important. And I'm going to start with the first one, and it's what people are looking for when they come into something, right? And I like the term, when you're bringing people in, you have like a culture keeper. Let's let Will in. People come for a reason, right? And oftentimes people say it's a leader, right? And that does happen, but they're also coming for other things, right? They're coming into something because they're searching for something, right? A lot of times people will say, oh, they're coming for the split. They're coming for this. They're coming for that. And yes, that can absolutely be true. It's good morning, Will.
Morning.
That can absolutely be true. But once they're here, how do we keep them? Right? It's not always just about the split or who they came for. We have to find how are we keeping them and retaining them here. And that's where the 5 E's come into play. We're trying to create something for them that keeps them here and continues to recruit them, right? Retain them inside of what brought them here. And so the first one would be, the first E is education. What are we providing to them here that makes them feel like they're still continuing to be educated while they're here? Like what is available to them? Education. Now, this is in the way of what is EXP offering them? What is the organization offering them? What are we providing externally? Are we giving them information about how they can continue to be educated? Like, we have to show them that what we provide, or what we're announcing to them, is showing them that what we've given them is going to continue to educate them. I can't tell you how many times that I'm on Zoom or on a call with someone that they say, I just don't feel like I can learn anything here. Like, there's nothing provided to me. Right? How many times do you talk to someone, they're like, I joined this and there's nothing, I don't learn anything. Right? I show up and there's nothing. They told me I was going to get this and I didn't. So even after someone joins, that has to continue. You have to continue to show them that they're going to get education, right? It can't stop. You have to keep giving it, education. And it's never ending. It's never, like, we all have so much to learn. Think about everything that shifts and changes constantly, constantly for us. Like, I wish it was the same all the time, but it's not. I just got something yesterday because I'm licensed in New York, and it was like, you have a class that's due. And I was like, what? Like, but that's New York letting me know immediately that I have something else that's due, right? That's retention, something else that needs to be done. So this is that first E, and it's about announcing it and providing. Think about like what Activate, right? Do you know how many people came to my Activate class this time, guys? Now, we provide this, it's a sad number. MC, do you know what Activate is? You're still muted if you're trying to talk to me.
How many?
It's one of the listening coaching things, right?
Yeah, it's something that I offered to the organization that I built.
Yeah.
So the first time I taught it, I had, gosh, Anthony, you were in my second class, right?
There was
So
a lot in the second class.
Yeah, so the first time I taught it, I think I had 90 something people in it. The second time I taught it, I think I had 50 something. This time I had 16. So Activate was something that I offered. It's a 2-day class, learning the like front to back, how to do a buyer presentation, a listing presentation, how to hold open houses, how to lead generate, how to follow up on leads, how to do everything. Literally soup to nuts for agents who were either brand new, had lost track, needed a boost back into like getting activated back into being an agent. And something that we offer for very little money. And the only reason that we ask them to pay is because we want them to have skin in the game. And we shot it out to 4,000 people offering this opportunity, and almost no one signed up. But the idea behind it was to get people back into production at a time when we saw production tank, like absolutely tank, offering education at a time when we saw people not being engaged, either in their own real estate career or inside of the organization or inside of EXP. And it was like, let's go, right? Let's get you guys back into production. Let's get you motivated. So this is something like, in a sense, is about retention. It's re-recruiting the people we already have. Because remember, you can recruit new all day, but you have to be recruiting the people that are already here. You've got to keep them engaged. And so,
Selina,
yeah, go ahead, Will.
can we talk through that as well? Because
Yeah.
I've had the same experience with my group. You know, I was relying on it's not about the how, it's about the who, and right. And I've been like coaching and trying to motivate and help people out, and I'm just like, this is not sustainable. So one of my buddies, he has a coaching company, and he coaches me. So I set it up with him where for $47 a month, he would basically do weekly group coaching with people in my org. Out of 200 people, I have 9 people that signed up.
Yep.
When 80% of the people are not producing. And I got the message from some people that, oh my God, $47 is too much. And it's just like, at that point, what do you do? I mean, what do you do? Because they don't care enough about their business or to invest, right? It's $47. But at that point, what do you do?
Katie, you came off mute. What do you want to say?
He's like,
I,
"Katie,
I
love
saw
me."
you. I saw you.
Well, this is, I mean, I first got into a leadership role in 2007, running a large real estate office, and this was common. And there's twofold to it. Parts of it is most of the agents that are in this market have never experienced a market like this before. If they got in the business after 2012, they've never experienced a shifting market. And so the part of it is like, this is, you know how there's like seasons in a year, there are seasons in real estate, and this is what we call the winter season, right? And so this is what you do at winter is, you know, if you didn't store up the nuts during the summer, right, you got to go forage for whatever is available out there so you literally don't starve. And it's like here, and so that's the first part, that they need to understand that this is normal in real estate. This is completely normal. But they don't know it is normal because they haven't had that experience. And so part of it is just like, hey, welcome to your first shift. This is exciting. And you know, there's the shift book is still a valid book out there to read about how to survive a shifting market. And like this, and this is when market share is captured. This is, you know, when you take your skills, your resilience, your creativity. There's so many cool things that you could experience in this kind of a market. And oh, by the way, part of it sucks, right? And so that's like, okay, so I get that $47 when you're down to like, I'm gonna, you know, which brand of soap do I get that's on sale because I'm watching my grocery bill down to the penny, feels like a lot, and I get that. What if you gave me $50 and I gave you back 1,000? Would that be worth it? Would that be worth it? Right? Because you know that your friend that coaches, because they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about my budget. How much income do I have coming in this month? $47 can buy me some food to put on the table. Can, you know, like Junior has to go to a field trip and that costs $40. And I mean, $40 now it's not a lot of money, but it's the money that they have and how do they, so now we got to get them to think about it differently and think about what that money looks. So I mean, I'm a Hamilton fan, so I like to use in the room where it happens, right? When you're in a group coaching program like this, what's the entrance fee, but what do you get out of it? You always get a return on investment when you invest in yourself. Always, always. That's a Warren Buffett quote. He's relatively bright. So, you know, but it's like, okay, why are you going to invest $47? And that's what it is an investment in your business and getting them to think like business owners, that this is what business owners do. And if after
Well,
90 days, you don't feel like it's worth your $150, then you should stop.
Yeah. And well,
yeah.
I think it's, you know, in talking, and for those of you who are joining a little bit late today, what we're talking about today, and I put it in there so you guys can see, is like agent retention, because what I wanted to talk about today was that recruiting never stops, right? You're always recruiting. People are always talking about recruiting and bringing on somebody new, but what I wanted to focus on today was that you're still recruiting the people that you brought on, right? Recruiting, your retention is still always recruiting, because we're seeing people leave, right? We're seeing people leave. So you have to re-recruit the people that you already have in. And I wanted to talk about the 5 E's. This came from an article I kept from a long time ago. It was 4 E's, and I added one more, 5th one, which we'll talk about. And providing, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Will, did you want to?
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna add a quote that I've been kind of leaning on with some of this stuff because, well, first I think Jeff put in that Rita, you know, but also I heard a quote, and basically it goes like, it's easier to give birth than to erect the dead. So it's just like, go out and just go get somebody else, because
Yeah.
these people are done, you know?
Yeah, listen, you're always building a bench, right? I've always been taught that over the years, right? With recruiting, you're always, even if it's an employee, right? Even when you're recruiting and building employees, you're always building a bench. So you're always working on bringing in new people. But I also don't want you to think about the fact that you're trying to keep the people that you have. So a lot of people focus on recruiting and they're always like, I'm bringing more people, I'm bringing more people. But if we lose track of keeping the people that we have, you've missed the boat, guys. It's also about being the culture keeper of the people that you've brought in. Don't lose track of actually creating an environment that keeps people. Okay, it cannot be that that's all we focus on is I'm bringing in new, I'm bringing in new, I'm bringing in new. You also have to create something that makes them never want to leave. That's what makes you an incredible leader. Okay, and that's why I started with the education. Like, we're very blessed. EXP has an incredible platform for education, but we also have to show them. Like, how many people read the last newsletter that we sent out? And how many people go out and explore all of the opportunities that we have for people to learn and do more, right? EXP has so much to offer. And then outside of that, are you exploring other opportunities? And that's why I shared with Activate. I had 16 people in this last class. 16. My first, go ahead, Stacey. Go ahead.
So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's about 10 of us on this. My question was this, and this is I'm glad that we're here because I'm on the polar opposite. I'm spending more than 50% of my time training these agents, offering trainings, events, happy hours that they're not attending. I created a website, truefreedom.pro, that I'm spending $300 a month on that nobody's using. So I do believe that recruiting trumps attrition. But my question was to everybody on this call, are you still selling homes like I am? And what training are you offering? Like, when is enough enough? Because I am fucking pissed beyond belief that, just like you said, Will, oh, I offered this and 9 people signed up. I think the answer is we need to recruit better freaking agents, and the people that leave should freaking leave, because I've had it with this shit. But I want to know what everybody else's experience is. Is everybody here just recruiting, or is anyone selling? Like, what value are you giving to the people in your group? Because I'm out, like, I've had it. Literally.
I love that you shared that, Stacey. We do still sell at the Rick Jiha team. We're still selling, still actively selling, still very busy with that side of things. Anthony's on right now from our team. We just got off of our team call.
Working on it right now.
Yeah, he's
No,
still.
I know that you sell, but like, what is your ratio? Is it like, how much are you spending on the group itself? How much are you spending on, like, on your business?
I'm full-time in both.
Yeah.
I'm running Casey's organization and the team. So I'm 100% in both, both, unfortunately. Listen, you know, Casey talks about this all the time. You're always going to have a third of the people who are in and happy, a third of the people who are, you know, like thinking about leaving, and a third of the people who are on the way out. So you have to look at it from that perspective and realize that that's why you're always recruiting. That's why you're always spending time working on keeping some sort of experience for them that keeps them engaged, and realizing that that third of the people going out, it's fine. Let them go. Right. And it's just the reality of the situation. It sucks.
Can I, Stacey, can I add some perspective? Because I was there as well where you are.
Yeah.
But just thinking about that 30, 30, 30, I think you need to go through your org and identify who the top 30% are. And that's where you spend your time.
Yeah.
That's where you spend your time. Don't spend your time with everybody else. You spend your time with the top 30 in your front line. And that's it.
Yeah.
That will build the culture, because what you do with those people should trickle down, because they'll see, look, man, look what Stacey's doing. You know, I want to get involved, right? And also you're going to have to, at some point, how Nolly said, put some salt in their mouth, right? Like, they're going to want what you have at some point, and then they're going to repeat what you're doing. So I think if you spend your time on the top 30, then you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I also want you to understand that, like, we can't make them want it for themselves.
Yep.
Right. And there's just the reality of, like, when I designed Activate, guys, when I came up with this plan, it was because I looked at an organization of 3,000 people, and I went to Rick and Casey and I said, I need you to understand that less than a third of them have closed one transaction in the last year. What can I do differently? What can I change? Even if I made an impact on some of them to close one transaction, what could that do? And so when I designed the class, it was like, no, I wasn't going to hit 1,000 of them. No, 3,000 of them weren't going to sign up for the class, but could I do something? Could I create something that would happen, like trickle down, exactly like Will said? And it did, guys. I had people who hadn't closed anything in a year start to close something, and then they told somebody, and then they told somebody, and then something happened, and then I've got great success stories from it. No, did it move mountains? No, but did some people who needed to be reactivated or change something about what they were thinking, and then that created another trickle effect? Yes. And so it's like one little piece can do something. But that was an opportunity, right? And that becomes a culture keeper, and it becomes that person who might have left real estate, who had people in their organization who might have left real estate, shifted something. Do I look at the org and say sometimes like, what are we doing? Yes. Sometimes I'm like, I've been in real estate for 28 years and I'm like, what are we doing? But then I look at that and I go, one little thing.
Yep.
One little thing.
And also, Stacy, there's going to be versions to your growth and your attraction. So you may be in version 1. I remember my version 1 where I was just taking anybody and everybody, and you know, the lower level agents were coming and they were coming and going, right? And then version 2 was the higher level, higher skilled, higher producing agents. And then that's when it got fun. Because now it's more mastermind collaboration, and I don't have to talk to them about selling a house because they're going to go out and sell a house. At this point now, it's just talking about growth and business and masterminding and life and all this other stuff. So you might just be in your version 1 right now, and it sucks, right? This is that wall that Casey was talking about, and once you break through that, then you're in version 2, and then that has its challenges as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to move to the second one. The second one is experience, right? So the first one was education, and it doesn't necessarily be that you have to do it. Okay, so this is, and I'm going to be honest about it. This was something that Rick and I spent a lot of time was doing a lot of the education, right? And this is something Empire Builders Pro that we do in our organization. We do a lot more of than some other organizations, right? We offer A's to Z's. We offer the Builders Call. We offer systems with Selina. We offer Activate. We offer access through Workman Success, where I'm also a master coach like Rick was. Not all organizations offer all of that, and you don't have to. You can just plug them into everything EXP offers. There's nothing that says you have to offer all of that, or you plug them into what we offer. But the key is to let them know it's there. I am shocked by how many agents I speak to that are considering leaving that don't know that any of that is available to them. So if you're not making sure that that's trickling down to everybody inside of your individual organizations, then we're missing the boat on retention, because they'll be like, I had no idea. We had someone last week and they're like, can I join a huddle somewhere? I had no idea. And this is somebody in our org that's been in our org. Now, don't get me, I'm trying to figure out how they're not getting all the emails, but they're like, we had no idea. I'd like to join a huddle. And I'm like, well, what about this and 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 this? And they're like, we didn't know about any of that. I'm like, how could you not know about any of that? Like there's all of this, that we have all of this, just join all of these things. So make sure they know about California contracts class, make sure they know about the Friday, you know, the whole business meeting, all of these things. It doesn't have to be you, but make sure they know what's there. Like if you don't have the time or the energy or the capacity to do it, the key is that they know it's available. Like, I'm shocked by how many people don't read emails. It still makes me crazy, but like, I'm like, I don't understand. But the first one's education. The next one is experience. Okay. They come to us for the experience of what we provide them. Okay. You're the culture keeper. At the end of the day, that's who you are. They come to us for leadership. They come to us for the experience of who and what we are. If the experience is that we show up and our experience is bad in any way, shape, or form, why would they stay? Okay, I don't care what you have going on in your life. This better look like a positive experience. I know Katie knows. Katie knows what I'm personally going through right now. But I'm still here. I still have a smile on my face. Like, you leave it at the door. when you're on the call with them, when you're showing up for calls, when you're showing up at an event, whatever it is, the experience that they have better be amazing. Because why else would they stay?
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it. That retention is important. They've got to love you. They've got to love what they're a part of. Everything about it. Even this shift, guys, even this market, if they call you and you're like, this is so hard, I don't know how we're going to do it. That's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
This is not hard. This is fun. This is the time to be creative and amazing and an experience. This is like an incredible opportunity to show your skills. If you show up every day going, oh, I'm so sorry, real estate, though, then you're creating an experience for them that makes them feel like this is going to be impossible for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
You show up and say, let's do it. Let's kill it. Let's take market share. That's the experience that they get. Because if you show fear, then they have fear. If you show excitement, then they have excitement. If you show that you're going to figure it out, then they're going to figure it out. Like that is the whole NAR thing and everybody freaking out and being like that and being like all over social media and whatever. And like, I was like, psh, we got this. Like, first of all, like didn't scare me like even for a minute because I've had buyer broker agreements since the dawn of time. I was like, okay, this is like a Tuesday, whatever. And everyone else is on social media losing their freaking minds. That's their experience because you just created it for them as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Their experience. That's how you retain people because you showed up as like, not even worried. Whatever. So that's the second one.
Can I just pop in on I run a group coaching group on Monday mornings, and we were talking a little bit about this. And, reality is reality that, doing a 5-minute plank, it is hard, right? There are parts of doing a 5-minute plank that suck. And when you're done, it feels awesome, right? And you build strength and you build balance and you build, there's so many cool things of doing, some of the work, right? And that's, this market is like doing a plank for a long time. And, we can do it. And we're going to support each other and cheer each other on and adversity and, strength training, sometimes that's uncomfortable and it's new. And I said, if they've never experienced winter or they've never experienced a plank before, the first time you do a plank, it's horrible, right? And then you're like, okay, this is all right. How do I do this again? And we keep lifting each other up. And so I think that it's okay to acknowledge that it's uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable is where we grow and build strength and perseverance and all these amazing gifts that come from a level of adversity.
Mo.
Thank you for relating it to working out, Katie. Now I can relate.
Mo, you have your hand up.
Yeah, you got me with that one too. I literally wrote it down. I'm gonna put everybody on 5-minute plank from now on. If they can't hang, if they can't do it, they can't be in the office. When I think about experience, right, you kind of sparked my mind. And there's always 3 experiences that I talk about that we tend to forget. Number 1 is a client experience, right? What kind of a client experience we want to give, which is obviously we always put that number 1. We always say, hey, what is that client experience? Because we feel like that's what's going to give them most business, right? But then I also think about my agent experience. Okay, what is the agent experience that I want every agent to have, right? And then obviously we focus on that as number 2 is recruiting, bringing people, keeping people in, right? But we tend to forget about the most important experience, and that's my experience, right? And that's my experience. And I focus on my experience, and that's my priority as a leader of my organization, as a leader of my office, because my experience dictates my agent experience. And my agent experience dictates my client experience, right? So, I just wanted to share those 3 experiences because, I've always focused on those things because if I feel good, if I'm amazed and I'm working hard, if I'm doing the things that I need to be doing from getting my own coaching, doing the things like doing the action items that I expect my agents to do, right? And kind of being involved in some way, somehow. I mean, I'm not door knocking every day, but sometimes I gotta go door knocking just to be like, hey, look, I still got it, and I still can door knock and knock out 100 doors in 20 minutes. I don't know why it takes you 2 hours. I still don't get it, right? But little things like that, But I just wanted to share those things because we tend to forget about our own experience, right? And our own experience will impact the agent experience and also the client experience.
Thank you, Mo. I think that's very true. I think it's I think it's easy to get focused, especially when we're in production, right? Or we're still running a team. We get very focused on the client experience. We think about that a lot. But I do think we lose track of agent experience. I think especially if you're running a big organization, that's easy to get lost. And it's easy for that to happen because there's so many sometimes, right? And it's hard to go deep into it because there's a lot. But I think if you could stop and think about, anybody here, I come from a large brokerage previously where you felt like a number, right? You were a number and you would go in and you would never see the broker, or you would like knock on that door. you were hoping for help. They'd never answer. You'd never get anything. And you would just be like, hello, I'm over here. Was wondering if like maybe somebody would just notice that I'm around. Like, you don't want to be that, right? You want to feel like you're a part of something.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's what we have to, and it's hard to do because we're big. But even if you're part of an organization that's 20, or you're part of an organization that's 4,000, or you're part of an organization that's 20,000, like, we have to remember that we want them to feel a part of something. And we're very blessed because EXP is so inclusive. And I love the fact that we're cloud-based and we have all of this opportunity and we've got workplace and we have all of these things, but it does start with us. It starts with each one of us. And there is lots of opportunity for people to feel a part of an experience that we have. Lots of opportunity. So just don't forget that. And I do thank you, Mo, because I do think our experience is equally as important, right? But that's also how we show up. Okay, so our experience then starts with us, translates, and trickles down into everything that we do. By the way, it
Mhm.
also trickles down into your family. Then it becomes your family's experience.
Also something I'd like to add, especially for the leaders is, and you guys should, you guys that have, organizations or, lead a team, leadership is lonely, right? Like, you're going to think about these people more than they think about you or themselves or their business. And I think that's where the frustration is coming from with Stacy, because she's spending a lot of her time, and I do the same thing. I spend a lot of time thinking about other people, and you're going to realize that they don't spend that amount of time thinking about themselves, their business, or anything. And honestly, I think that just comes with leadership. But that's why you have to find spaces like this. That's why, again, I'm on all these calls.
Yeah.
Because this is the only space that I have, where other people will think about me, because they won't think about you. They're so already in their stuff, So I think you have to kind of rely on your intentions, and as long as you intend well, do what you can. But again, back to Mo's point, when you're getting on a plane, they tell you always supply yourself oxygen first. So make sure you're taken care of. Don't overextend yourself, right? And then focus on that top 30%.
Thank you for sharing that, Will. That was amazing. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. Katie, you're cracking me up on your plank. The next one is exposure.
Somebody asked what a plank was, so I put in a picture of an actual video of me planking, right? So there we go.
Yeah.
So there's no picture of the plank. So
the next one's exposure. Okay, so this is kind of twofold. You want to make sure that you're exposing them to all of the things available to them. Now, this is like there's two sides of this. So one is that you're exposing them to other people in the organization. Now, this is upper management, other people who do what they do. Now, this is where things fall short. You're making sure that you're introducing them within your organization, other organizations. You're giving them access to other people. Okay, this is where something that Casey and I are working on, like inside of our org, we're trying to learn more about people, what interests them. If it's commercial, if it's referral, or do they do, specific things, so that we can start learning more about people and saying, can we make a connection over here? Can we make a connection over here, right? We're finding out more about what people do so that you're reaching further for them. They feel like now they have better access to other things. Okay, so those connections that start happening because we have like some people don't know to look that stuff up on Workplace. It's like they just don't know. I know it's crazy that they don't, but they don't. And we're like, okay, well, can we start kind of keeping track of some of this as we learn about people when we're onboarding them or when we're doing a third-party validation call, we're starting to make those notes. And we're like, oh, okay. So providing exposure and or now starting like we're thinking about it for our newsletters, like as I'm starting to learn about other things, I'm like, can we pop that out to people? Like, did you know about this? Did you know about that? How about these people that are all about investment properties, right? Like we're talking to some people about onboarding that we know have a specific niche. And we're like, okay, well, now we're keeping a list of people that we know do that. So when they come on board, we'll be making those types of introductions. That's exposure that they did not have wherever they were that now we're starting to give them. Okay, make connections and help people make connections because that's something they didn't have before. Listen. There's so much about listening when you're recruiting and when you're retaining. Okay, I want you to think about when you're bringing somebody on, most of the time when you are recruiting someone, I don't know about you, but I'm listening, and it's not about the money. It's not about the money. They're coming for something else. Okay, if you're not paying attention to that, and then exposing them to whatever that is when they come, and then sticking with that while they're here, you're missing the boat. Expose them to it. Make the connections wherever it is while they're still with you, okay? A lot of you have access to upper management, other people in other large organizations that you can connect them with throughout that time. That's retention. They might not have access to those people on their own, but you do. Okay, exposure is really important. You can make those kinds of connections and that keeps them connected to you, to them, and in the game that they won't have anywhere else. Go ahead, Amberly.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to share with you, I think the last leadership meeting that we were on, Jeff and I are, evaluating our organization and where we, some areas that haven't been following the system. So what I've been doing is I've been going back to our group, and for those that weren't put through, the third party validation, they were just brought on by an agent, by the seam of their pants, right? And so we've been going back and re-engaging them into our organization, and it's been really helpful. There's been a lot of ahas, and we're connectors of people, and so if they're not plugged into our group, they can't see how much value we have here and the tools available. So I just want to share that we've been working on that, and the feedback has been great for those that have been left out of the loop.
I love that. I really love that. Going back through. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Amberly. So the second level of exposure is, and it's something we're really working on right now, is celebrating. Celebrating every milestone. Okay, no matter how small it is, guys. So this is everything from icons to cappers to a new agent with their first transaction. Anniversaries, birthdays. I mean, they don't have everybody's birthdays in the systems yet. We've been asking corporate for it for like forever. They're working on it. But like, guys, we've gotten pretty good. Most people have gotten really good at cappers and icons, but a new agent with their first transaction is a really freaking big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really big deal, and we're missing the boat there. Okay, every little thing, that exposure and that congratulatory moment is huge. Huge. Like that kind of exposure and that kind of milestone is huge. Like we have opportunities here. We have really big opportunities. And just a little something, even if it's just an email to them, if you don't want to put it on your page, if you don't want to do it that way, like you would be amazed at what that does for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
For retention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're re-recruiting them in that moment. You're re-recruiting them over and over again.
You know, guys, I started doing that. How do I put this? It's that part gets interesting because we all have different levels, and sometimes the person that bought them in is not engaged, and you don't, it's hard for you to catch everything as one person, but yes, I've started doing that, and it's been huge. So every month I'll recognize the top attractors, I'll recognize the top the top agents again, which is hard because all I'm looking at is my rev share and the top, people that I got paid out on. But I started to realize that, oh my God, wait, that it might not be right because I have people on my, fourth and fifth that may have sold more. I just didn't make much because they're further down the line. But I would say also I named a rookie of the year for my group this year, and she really appreciated that. So I mean, we just got to get around. There's no manual for this. I never ran a brokerage, but I'm running a brokerage.
Yeah. Yeah. It's work. Like we're still implementing it and doing it now. Laura, who's on, like is like is my assistant, and like we're still implementing, and it's work, guys. It's work, but it's like it's so valuable and it's so important, and it's re-recruiting. You're keeping them, and it's it means something to people. Like it really does. So I want you to just think
Selena,
about, yeah, go ahead.
can you start to push some of that down? Because again, I'm having to go out and create it for myself. Maybe my sponsor's not thinking about it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm having to go out and recreate it myself. And again, when you're still selling and doing all the other things, this gets tough.
Yep. Yeah, we can totally push it down. We're still in the process of designing and creating right now and what that looks like, but we're close. We're really
I
close.
want it to be pushed down, just to be clear. I want to do it.
Amberly and then Katie. Oh, Amberly, hang on, you're still muted. 1 second.
Sorry, I'm on my phone. I'm pushing all the buttons right now. I just wanted to share, circling back to the birthdays. So if you go back under my revenue share, sometimes the birthdays are there and sometimes they're not. So,
So
that's
annoying.
one place. That's one place where you can pull the birthdays, and always just call and ask. I mean, for us right now, our organization is still manageable for us to do that, but I can imagine as, for the larger groups too, it can be a bit of a process, but that would be perfect for an assistant to go and knock out one day.
Yeah.
I have a form. I have a frontline form that I send out, and I capture a lot of that information. And then my VA sends, for every birthday, she sends them a birthday card and some brownies.
Yeah, I love it.
But I just do it for the front line. I mean, I can't do it for everybody.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, even anniversaries for like the amount of time that they've been with us, that's available as well. So those are important days as well. Katie, go ahead. You're still muted. You're muted.
Will just said something that I thought was pretty cool about not running a brokerage, and there have got to be, and so this would it be helpful, and maybe this is to other people that not well, that if those of us that have run brokerages in the past could do a little, I don't know, mastermind, something that we could create something that's like, hey, this is how we did it. And it's obviously going to be different for different size brokerages and different just personal style, but how we did it, and especially in a shifting, for those of us that were running offices in a shifting market, would that be valuable?
Thoughts, guys? Oh, Will, hang on, you're muted. Yeah, Will,
so.
yes.
I think what everybody needs to understand, like, it's just a normal, we don't have all the, liability, and we have more support to build a brokerage. But it is, 87% fail rate within 2 years. So if you're providing value, like Will said he's doing, which we're going to start working on, the people that show up are going to show up. You want to run with the runners and not drag the draggers. And it's a tough business, and even more so now. So not to get down on yourselves, and just run with the runners. And have systems. What we've done, we have a really good partner, Ray Vega, and so we had a little issue with not an issue, but with just the EXP mentor program. I was sharing this with Will, kind of what we're doing. So he's doing a Zoom. Not everybody shows up for newer agents. So we plug them onto his traditional team. So he gets a bigger split. That's got to be 25%. And the agents that are showing up on that. And that's kind of helped. So now we have like options where people want to, get trained on. And then he's not one-on-one mentoring every day or, weekly. He's having groups. So then the people that show up are going to show up, and he's ran big teams at Keller, at my dad's office. And so that's helped us. And then what me and my wife do is we will handpick somebody in that group that we will spend time personally one-on-one mentoring if we feel that they have the potential to go. So we're not spinning our wheels. And the people that are good, me and my wife, we were in Pittsburgh and we visited the Pittsburgh Homegirls, which was really cool that we met at an event at EXP. But we sat next to this guy randomly at this jazz bar, and he owned a Coldwell Banker in Western New York. And what he was saying, recruiting and the agents in his franchise, the agents are just keeping the doors open. So he's not even making any money, right? We don't have the liability, and we're making even just a small rev share group making some money. And what he told us, we were talking about training and nutrition and all that. And he said, Jeff, the thing that I've noticed in my 40 years in the business, the people that are going to be good, sometimes they don't even show up to training. If it's there, maybe they will, but they just go out and do their own thing. Yeah. And we've had people, Janelle's on here right now. She's a brand new agent, did 12 deals her first year, barely calls us. She just runs, so we know that we can focus on her and check in on her because she's reaching out and actually getting on Zooms and stuff. So.
Thank you for that. I'm going to move into the next one. It's engagement. Now, this is where if you have someone that you're worried about, guys, that you're thinking that is like not being a part of something and you're worried about maybe leaving, this is where I'm going to tell you that you need to plug in with them. Invite them to be a part of a Zoom, of a training. Engage them. Have them speak, have them present, have them do something, because now you've made them a part of what you're doing. Okay? Get them engaged. Like, not just inviting them to listen. Okay, now you've created something that you've asked them to be a part of. Okay? It's a way to pull them in. Just inviting people to listen is not always enough. Okay, it's not always going to work for somebody who's not doing anything. But if you've got somebody who's like on the fence, doing a little bit, and you want to get them in and you want to keep them in, and you're like, this person should stay, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't see them participating in anything, get them engaged by saying, I'd love to have you speak. I'd love to have you on a panel. I'd love to have you do something. Engagement. Anybody that you think is at risk, okay? Engagement is important. Make them feel important. Even if it's a big panel, like have everybody just come on. Talk about whatever they're thinking and feeling. Have them talk about open houses, whatever it is that you think they're good at, engage them. Okay? Pull them in, blast it, advertise it, put their face all over it. Okay? Like get them in. Engagement is really key. Okay? It makes them perform better. It makes them feel important because they are important. Mm-hmm. But they weren't connecting for a reason. Amberly, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think it just kind of comes back to just leading, and we're always thinking of others. And I think since we're in this role, we have intuition, right? I mean, we know who is plugging in and we know who's not. So, we decided to be here. We decided to be leaders. And so part of that is also sometimes, nudging those that we care about to engage, and whether they feel like they're qualified or not, everybody brings something to the table, whether you've been in the business a couple of years or you've been in the business 19 years. I'm still learning new things all the time. That's the beauty of this business. So, yeah, I think that's great to encourage you know, newer agents, anybody that's kind of fallen back, you know, provide value where they can and share their wins where they can and focus on the good things that are happening in the business. There's a lot of things that in life, you know, go sideways, but we always got to focus on the things that are growing us, that are improving us. And, you know, we just got to keep that bar high regardless of what the outcome is.
I love that. Thank you. And the last one is one that I added, and it's a little bit like experience, but I call it environment. We have to provide an environment that allows all of this to happen. All of it. Okay. And that is who we are, what we provide, and the ability to receive feedback, whatever it is. Okay. So this is an opportunity to ask people what they feel like is missing as well. Like, what do you feel like you're not getting? Where do you feel like there's a breakdown? Do you feel like there's something inside of the organization, inside of EXP, whatever it is, right? I love the fact that they're sending out the surveys, oh God, I'm totally blanking on the name of it right now. Hang on. I've got our whole thing sent out right now. What's the score? The NPS score, right? And we just got our report yesterday and I was reading it and I was like, okay. And what I don't love about it is when we get our NPS score back for our organization, they only give me what they loved. I want to get the NPS score that says what people didn't like, because I feel like I can learn from that, right? And when we get our organization, we get our influencer metrics. Does anybody else here get that? Or is Casey the only one that's getting the big giant NPS, the influencer metrics report? No one else here gets that?
What do you mean by metrics? I get the influencer report monthly where it tells where you stand and how many people. Yeah, I get that one.
Okay. Yeah, so we get that one, and the NPS score, all they ever give us is what they loved. And I'm like, could you please give me like what was the feedback that they didn't love? Because that gives us something we could work on. Like, I love that they love things. I want to know what's the things that they don't love so that we can grow, right? Like, I feel like because that's what we need to work on for our environment. Like, we have so many wonderful things about responsive and the system's great and, you know, there's great opportunity, but I'm like, what about the things that they feel like they need? Because I want to make sure that we're always creating an environment for growth, right? We're creating an environment where they feel like they have opportunities. And that's what I want you to think about. It. Look deep within what you're offering to the people in your organization and say, is this an environment that I'm constantly attracting new agents? And the agents that I already have here feel like they have an environment that allows them to continue to always grow, that they would never want to leave. So that's what I want you to think about is like, is this environment that? And if not, like, what can I do differently? Casey and I have this new saying, like, what can I do better? Like, we're always just looking at like, what can we do better? What can we do better? Because there's always opportunity for growth and for improvement, right? And just say like on these 5 E's, right? Again, education, experience, exposure, engagement, and environment. How am I constantly re-recruiting all of the people I already have? Because how much easier would it be to keep the people we already have, right? Always still be bringing new people in, but have such an incredible experience here that they never leave us. Now, we know not everybody's going to stay. We know that there are going to be agents that just never make it. We're never going to change that about them. People come into real estate thinking it's one thing and it's not that. Okay, we're not going to let them go, release them to the wind. Okay, and that's okay. But I want you to consider like, what you are providing every day, these 5 E's, enough to keep the people that we know we want to keep. Okay, we have 3 minutes left. Any last comments?
I think energy. Was that one of them?
Oh, that should be my 6th E. Oh, I love it,
man. Because you need energy to persist in this game right here.
You do.
I like to say, Will. I like to say energy. What is my energy like? Yeah.
I like it.
I have a question for you guys, Selina. do you collaborate with your, like, is this all you and Casey and whoever you guys hire, or, you know, at what point do you bear the load with your sponsor or their sponsor, or, you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Just with all the things that you're doing, and the financial responsibility and implementation of some of this stuff, you know what I mean?
Oh, we carry it. I mean, I mean, every individual person, every individual organization chooses what to do within their organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of depends. And then on events, sometimes we go in like, right, Rosie and things like that, but it depends on like what's being done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for our like Empire Builders Pro, for our website, that's Casey. And then, you know, what we do as far as newsletters, etc., that's again Empire Builders Pro, that's Casey. You know, so that's us choosing to do what we do down inside of the organization, and events and things like that. Sometimes we collaborate with people further down into the org.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all done based on a case-by-case basis. Does that answer your question? Yes, maybe. All right. I'm going to wrap up, guys, because I'm starting our Rick Jiha team meeting. So I'm Zoom to Zoom today. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining. I hope you got something from it today. Stacy, I hope you're feeling a little bit better. I know you started the call. I know it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. You know, recruiting and keeping people engaged and a part of something. You know, overall, this is, again, I said this like 28 years in real estate and recruiting all during that time. It's hard because you want something for people and you want them to want it too. But remember, you can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. The goal is to just keep the people that you know are in it engaged and excited about what it is that we offer so that they don't leave us, and then recruit the ones that do, because we have something pretty amazing here, right?
Yes, we
And
do.
you want to keep them with you. We have something pretty incredible. But just make sure that you're keeping them here, like re-recruiting them. Retention is about constantly re-recruiting them over and over and over again, because they would never want to leave us because we have something incredible to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Selena.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.